Well, here we are. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Father.
We're going to be a little different this morning. I need to turn this volume up. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Father.
We're going to be a little different this morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. You got yours on?
Yeah, but it's delayed. I have to wait for it to mute it. But it's off now.
I'm gonna sing a song this morning. All right. Everybody hold your breath. Everybody hold your breath. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? We do it like this. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of light. The bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. But the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Mercy.
Good Lord, good Lord.
I love it. I played trumpet as a teenager and all through college. And Louis Armstrong was always a hero.
Nice.
Yeah.
I always liked that song. My dad and I liked it. I made it the first dance at my wedding with my dad.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
It was 1967 when he published that, recorded that.
Timeless. It's a timeless song.
It is indeed.
I have it saved to my favorites, so I listen to it every now and then. I think I just listened to it yesterday.
Unfortunately, I need to take a break. I got all wrapped up talking politics this morning on the chat and neglected to go to the bathroom before I came on, so I need to take a quick break. Let's put Lee up. And, well, we could do this. This is, let's see, let me get Lee. That'd be better. Other fish, let's see what we got here. All right, we'll do this. Be right back. Well, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, all.
Hi there.
We've got
Oh,
the topic about fish food and how you make fish food. Do you make fish
yeah.
food? Have you made
How do you make
fish
fish
food?
food? The other one was who is it having trouble with their tank?
Yeah, we'll get there. I
You
wanted
got
to.
that on. You got it on your list.
Yes, I got it.
Okay. I will trust you implicitly. Keep me in gear. How do you make fish food? Ha!
Or have you made fish food?
I used to make it all the time.
I
Oh
think
golly, when did I start
President
making fish
Schwartz
food?
is asking for a video on how you make fish food.
I know. Um, Hans. I don't know if any of you know Hans. I don't think he's on YouTube. Hans imports discus from Germany. There's the Weiss discus. They're some of the best discus in the world. He used to be a breeder in Germany years ago, many years ago. And when he moved to the States, he's in Baltimore, just outside of Baltimore. Um, he made an agreement with the farm in Germany to not breed those fish here in the States if he could have exclusive access in the United States to their fish to be able to resell them. And he's built quite a lucrative business based on doing just that. I've had some of those fish, and I like them. I like them a lot. I also have had local Florida discus, and I've had Asian discus. You cannot put Asian discus and Germans together. I'm getting to the food. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm on track.
It's a different story.
I found a rabbit hole.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'll give you a moment then.
I appreciate it. You can't put the Asian and the German discus together. At least that's the theory, because they're raised in radically different environments. Is the theory. I have put. Need to say this very quietly. I have put them together. I've had Germans and Asians together in the same tank. And what I've noticed is they do quite well, actually, quite well. The theory is that uh, that they won't survive together because of bacteriological. She's signaling me, and other conditions. I see.
If we're going into story time, make me small.
Hans, no, we're not. No, we're not. We're on fish food. We're on making fish food, and the reason I bring up Hans is because Hans makes his own fish food, and he sells it, and it is quite a spectacular product. That is all he feeds his discus, and the formula is really rather simple. Um, he has um, I guess it's a 20-gallon professional mixer, a big commercial kitchen appliance about that big around. Let me Let me do this a second here. There we are. It's about that big around, a big, huge pot, 2-3 foot deep, with a great churn in the top, and that's where he mixes up 40 pounds at a crack, then divvies it up and sells it, and also feeds his own fish. I don't remember his formula. You can look it up. It's there. If you go on Facebook, you can find him. Look under Hans Discus on Facebook. It should come
How you
up.
spell Hans?
H-A-H-N-S, I think. H-A-N-S. H-A-N-S.
Okay. Hans Discus?
Hans Discus, yes. I think so. Anyway. The ingredients are really not what the issue is. We used to always make our own food back when I was young, when I was a kid and a young man. There were no prepared foods that were particularly good for fish. So we always made our own food. And at that time, we were not feeding a lot of food like worms and brine shrimp because they were not available. We could raise whatever we could get to raise. Microworm, we had microworm. Brine shrimp, we did not have. Oh, no, wait, we did. We did have brine shrimp. We had brine shrimp back in the 50s, but we did not have adult brine shrimp. It was just the babies. And it was problematic trying to raise a large quantity of them. So, or hatch out a lot of them. So most people didn't fool with it much except to feed baby fish. We did not have a lot of little tiny fish either. The little tiny stuff had really not made it into the hobby yet. So the foods that we made were largely fish food with filler. They were fish rather, were largely fish with filler. And the filler was always the problem, because it tended to muck up the tank. It tended not to get eaten very well. So Hans was one of those who stopped using filler and started just using various kinds of live foods, grinding them up, mixing them up, and then freezing them in flat packs, or curiously, I think he still does his in balls. I don't get that, but nevertheless, I always did mine on sheets of cut right paper, wax paper. I'd press it, put a sandwich it between two sheets of wax paper, press it down and freeze it, and then be able to break pieces off to feed the fish. What did I use? I used whatever I could find, whatever I had. Usually, it was critters that I caught in during the summer, late spring and late and early fall, down on the Chesapeake Bay, which included crab, shrimp, little shrimp, not the big shrimp, the little shrimp, small fish, occasionally fish heads and fish tails if I could get it and keep it long enough to use it. I occasionally would collect the offal from fish cleaning when we went out and caught a lot of fish and cleaned them all out. But that was so disgusting. I didn't do that very often. Um, what else did I use? It's hard to remember. It was nothing in particular, really. It was whatever I had available. Earthworms. I remember chopping up earthworms and mixing it into a paste with some other stuff. Occasionally, I guess we used um, some green growing things. I'm just trying to remember what. Lettuce, I guess. Trying to remember if there was anything wild that we collected plant wise that we used. Certainly not grass, although that wouldn't have been a bad thing, probably. Not leaves. Um, just basically whatever organics we had. It wasn't particularly scientific, although usually what would happen is the fish keeper would develop his own formula and then be able to prepare for that to gather the ingredients on a routine basis and mix it up perhaps once every 3 months or 6 months, typically once every 3 months or so, and then freeze it. So, it was, hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I was late.
No worries. You're fine.
I heard your beautiful song though.
Oh, well,
what a wonderful world.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we needed to calm the troubled waters here.
I hear you. I'm gonna drop some bloodworms in my fish tank. Have y'all ever used these little feeding combs for bloodworms?
Sure. Oh yeah, golly. Do you have any idea how long they've been around?
A long time. I love them.
I had feeding cones, that very same one, when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, 10, 15 years old. 60 years ago.
They are really cool.
That long. Yeah, amazing. I dare say they were adapted from something else. No idea what, but I'm sure they were not invented for feeding worms to fish.
Right. I created a pretty good friendship over a feeding comb with Mark Harnett. He watches. He's usually lurking, but that's how we got to talking, was over these feeding cones, and it's cool. He has discus.
Yeah, they are nice. Discus love live worms.
Mm-hmm.
Discus was a fish that was fairly difficult to keep back then because we did not have access to the kinds of foods we do today.
I kept discus
had to make our own, and it was really problematic. I mean, you did not go to the store and buy.
No, I went to the butcher
because it was too expensive.
I had a butcher that saved me beef heart, and he would grind it for me, and I made my own frozen little cubes.
Beef heart was the common one.
Yep.
That was probably the earliest and the most commonly used was beef heart. Thank you for jogging my memory with that. Beef heart was cheap then. It's still cheap. You can still get it for a buck a pound at virtually any supermarket, and they will if you have a good relationship with the butcher, you can have him take all the gristle and fat off, which is really important to do because the fat is not digested by the fish. It just kind of comes right out the other end and creates a skim on the surface of the water. So it's not particularly desirable. That and the blood that's released, which greatly increases protein in the water column. So most everybody has gotten away from beef heart and is now feeding. If they're doing meat at all, it's one or another kind of bird. Uh, Typically ground chicken. Ground chicken's available pretty cheap. It's
Oh,
about $5 a pound.
he's leaving.
What?
He's leaving. Can I show Craig my shirt before he goes? I said I was going to wait till
Absolutely.
we were done.
Yeah, let me get you up here.
Sorry, Craig. I didn't realize you were leaving. Here you go. Let's see.
Oh, that's
I found this at Walmart.
Golden hour in the mountains.
So it's funny. I wish I had it on yesterday when I was talking about Colorado. That's where I believe they're talking about gold in the city. That's where my brother went to college. He went to college up in Golden. About like an hour drive from where we lived. And I saw it in Walmart and I was like, you know what? I gotta have that.
So I'm not getting real far with this
The feeding.
food manufacturing thing.
Well,
There were early attempts. There were early attempts to cook it, to put it in like a cookie pan, spread it out thin, and put it in the oven to dry it.
Yep.
That had limited success and really limited effect because it killed a lot of the very good reason for
right. All the
feeding
beneficial.
to begin with. Yeah. But it became the wave of the future because the next step then was processed foods, which were all cooked and baked and crumbled and then flaked. They made these great slurries out of fish, mostly fish waste, and then threw whatever chemical was at hand into it so they could advertise vitamins, and then did flash heating that dried it very quickly and flaked that up, and that's where we got all the flake foods, which I think are probably the worst single thing. If there's anything worse than gravel, it's flake food. It has zero food value. It's
I just saw
convenient.
flake food this morning from Brine Shrimp Direct.
Did you? Who did?
I did. I was looking on Amazon for a small little net for my aquarium, and I ran into, so my search was shrimp net, and I saw Brine Shrimp Direct is selling a flake food. Here it is. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, not surprised. It's a brine shrimp. I think it's pure brine shrimp, isn't it?
Cool Mysis, MYSIS, preserved with cool cooking methodology.
You were right first time.
This is tropical fish flake enriched with Selco. Here's maybe
Well,
just
it sells. No, it's a flake food is the highest demand product.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, we can see it.
Gluten's in there, spirulina, garlic, some vitamins. But I'm wondering if they made that with the gelatin on the pan like you were talking about.
I don't think they use the gelatin. They have a process that heats it. I don't know how they do it. In very thin. They heat it in very tiny, very thin sheets, so it goes very quickly through the oven, and is immediately. It comes out in big flakes, like really, really big flakes. You can buy you can buy big containers of flake food, and the flakes that'll be 6 inches in diameter. It's
James James Hand says he adds plain gelatin to his meat mix. Does pretty good at holding the blood in the mix.
yeah, that's true. It does.
Yep.
Says
There's
independent
Mark.
laboratory analysis has shown that the low temperature flaking process results in a higher protein retention and water stability than conventional flaking methods.
Conventional flaking methods.
Right, Lee.
So there you have it.
So you'll see an improvement in water quality as well as the health of your aquarium. It's claims to be made with Mysis shrimp.
Now, what's the difference between mysis and brine shrimp? Is it the same thing or
No,
bigger?
Mysis are the shrimp that whales eat.
Oh, okay.
They're caught by the megaton in the Antarctic and are used as kind of a seafood supplement. They're cooked typically, and they're flash frozen, I guess, and used as supplements in food.
Let's see. Did you get the questions, Cassie?
People food. So it's a people food supplement. It adds flavor. When I was in Haiti, the Haitians do it in a way that's absolutely disgusting. They actually pickle small shrimp,
Mm.
and it is utterly dreadful. But it's used as a seasoning for dishes, and it provides a very strong seafood flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of thing you don't want to smell because it'll burn your nostrils off and probably make you retch in the process. Really nasty stuff.
We're done with
I think I brought some back. I probably have some sitting in a box somewhere. I bought a lot of all that stuff. They have markets in Haiti with all sorts of strange and wonderful things, including a lot of voodoo stuff. It's really kind of interesting. Dry food, flake food. There is a food that a lot of people are using, a lot of farmers are using. It's not a flake food. It's called a pellet. It's actually a pelletized shrimp called golden pearls. That's also available, I think, exclusively through Brine Shrimp Direct. That comes in a very, very tiny pellet. It's like 100-micron pellet that's used to feed very tiny baby fish and has been very successful. No idea what the process is. Obviously, it's cooked in some way and dried. And pearled, which is interesting. It's pelletized, and you can get it in larger pellets as well. You can get it in pretty good size ones. So there's a gradation of this product. Not terribly expensive, real good, very high quality food. I think the issue has been to try to find ways to make some quality products that are convenience foods for fish keepers. And you kind of take your money and pay your money and take your checks, I guess. You know, it's every fish keeper has his favorite food. We just got this new prime in from Israel that has oregano in it and an antibiotic, and it's a 53% protein, designed specifically for fish farmers. So it promotes rapid growth and puts on bulk. It's a matter of what you're into. Clearly,
paprika. What about the paprika?
Yeah, I don't know that they put paprika in that. I don't
You
think
know,
they're in
you
On the
have that
prime,
as
the
well.
color. I think it's
on the
mostly
prime, is it
available
supposed to be
for food fish, human food fish. Um,
Now,
but
I
it's
thought you showed a bottle of paprika along with the oregano.
the other day? Yeah.
I've got it right here.
Now the oregano is a different type. It's a Mediterranean
Yeah,
oregano
you used the
oil. It's got to be
paprika for.
specific. Yeah, and then the paprika for the color. Now the prime food, is it recommended to just feed it like you can feed it? Well, I know daily, but you know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean.
right.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily. Okay,
yes, yeah.
because I'm going to get some.
It's
I've
intended
got an
to be
order
a
coming
daily
in
food.
today.
Right.
Okay.
We've been feeding it for about 2 weeks now.
Do you
Uh,
notice a difference with
no, the
anything?
fish like it. I've noticed
Yeah.
that. Um, I tend to feed very little and sparingly. Thomas is doing the feeding these days, and I think he's feeding pretty much every day. So the fish are getting a lot more food than they were when I was doing it. So we ought to be seeing some results. Uh, we had gotten kind of low on a lot of species, just brought a big order in. That video will be
Oh,
out.
I was going to say, when was that video? Did you put it up?
Well, we made it 2 days ago, but Thomas is insisting on producing a super high quality product. So he's trying to get a video that will
Is it
have
all?
not just the unboxing, but in the same frame, will have a picture of the fish in the tank. So it's about 50 different cuts and splices to be able to do that. And he
That'll
figured
be
it would take
nice.
him 2 or 3 days to do it. It might be a week, who knows? Yes, Cassie. What?
Can I,
What?
can I follow this up with going back to the original question from Kaizen or
Of
Kaysen?
what?
So
The original.
Kaysen was asking about how you make the fish food. I guess she now just provided a link to your video on YouTube,
Yeah.
and the reason she wants to know about it um, is because she said she heard you say something in there about she says, I'm asking because not any food will be eaten a second or third time, like you said in one of your videos. And so she was curious to know what it was made of. And she's got the link here to the video.
Yeah, I remember that came up the other day in an email, in
Okay.
a comment rather.
It's your
And the
video on
comment,
fish food from
pardon,
November 25th,
Oh,
2019.
cyanide. I'm sorry.
October.
November
Oh, my
25th,
goodness.
2019, you made a video on fish food.
Oh, I see. Oh, a year ago. Probably. That was 200 videos ago or more.
It says, feed your fish real food.
Okay.
Well, your description, it just says, I wonder, is that your video on chicken? Because you say
I
fish,
don't know.
vegetables,
I don't
chicken.
know. I don't remember. I would have to go back and look at it. I don't
Well,
remember.
it's here if you want it. Here's the video. I'll send it to you in chat.
Aquatic conquest. That went over my head.
We can move on if you want, but there's the link. It's in private chat.
Private chat. Where precisely is private chat?
StreamYard has
Private
a
chat. Oh, yeah. All right. I see it.
I promise we'll get to the other questions. I just want to wrap this up.
Hi there, Father Fish. Guess what we're going to talk about today? We're going to go on the bottom of the tank. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and watch it. I don't remember.
Are you making any fish food now, or what are you feeding your fish now?
A lot of live food. Feeding, we got blackworms back in finally. So we're feeding blackworm We feed brine shrimp, adult brine shrimp. We also feed um, little fish, guppy-sized fish, some larger fish to our bigger ones. We feed a lot of live shrimp. So all of our bigger fish get live food. They get minnows, shrimp, um, earthworms. We feed earthworms. Um, as much live food as possible. Just try to do a lot of live food.
T-Bone was
Whenever,
asking how much and
whenever
how
a
often you
fish,
feed.
pardon.
Oh, sorry. T-Bone was asking how much and how often do you feed, since you were on that subject. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, no, it's okay. I was just explaining. I normally feed much less than my fish are being fed now, and I kind of let it go um, in deference to Thomas's desire to take care of the fish. So I'm letting him feed and kind of giving him headroom to do it. So they're being fed pretty much every day, which in some cases is good. Like with the bettas, the bettas do better eating every day. It gives them more vitality. the the larger fish do not get fed every day. They get fed two maybe three times a week. That's the big stuff, the big guys. The like live bears, that level of fish, community fish, are being fed pretty much every day. They'll get other worms, shrimp, or currently some of this prime.
So
Um,
can we wrap this up with you don't make fish food, you feed them mostly live food or whole food?
I haven't made fish food in many, many years. And I think the reason I don't is because there are so many prepared foods on the market today. It's um, it's kind of irrelevant to do it. The purists among us, and there are those, are still making their own food and have their own formula for doing it. And there are some of the real diehards, um, the guys who've been doing fish 40, 50 years. Some of them still make their own food and swear by it, and it is most certainly better quality than than might otherwise be available. I really enjoy feeding live foods whenever possible. I think it's a more natural product for the fish, and I also by doing deep planted, deep substrate tanks, I get a lot of natural growth in the tank, both protozoan and various forms of algae that are all greedily consumed by the fish in the tanks, particularly small fish. They'll graze all the time, and that's true fresh or saltwater. In my saltwater tanks, I have very old systems that produce huge amounts of natural um, uh, protozoan and various forms of algae, and the fish are grazing all the time on that. So we feed really very little to the saltwater. So the idea, if you've got a really healthy tank that's creating a lot of life, and you're feed sparingly. Just feed very tiny amounts. Don't uh, don't feel like you have to fill them up, and don't feel like it's the only food they get, because it's not. If you watch your fish, they're going to be grazing on plants, algae, grazing on the bottom, looking around for little things that are very often too tiny for you to even see, that become the the basis of their diet. So feed sparingly would be my best advice. Somebody in the comment section the other day was asking about this issue in light of some observation they had about feeding certain foods like live foods that seemed not to produce waste. Or the waste was produced in a more broken up kind of form rather than long threads, which the synthetic foods or the manufactured foods would tend to produce. And their notion was that that made live foods less accessible for second and third feedings. I think my comment, but with apologies, was to not neglect the protozoan that eat all of that waste and are then consumed by the small fish, so that the chain continues nevertheless. Oh, excuse me. I don't know. Have we driven that into the ground yet?
Yeah, they've moved on to Rapashi food. Offering
Yeah,
Rapashi.
Rapashi is interesting. Now, okay, that's interesting. Rapashi, it's gelatin. And you're mixing your product, whatever it is, into gelatin, which is precisely what we were doing 50 years ago and trying to find an alternative to. The theory is that it holds the food in a gelatinous kind of structure that allows it to be less waste and more eaten, which may or may not be. I mean, that's probably somewhat problematic. For larger fish, it's probably true. For smaller fish, I'm not sure at all. My feeling about it is that it for me it harkens back to 50 years ago or so when I was trying to figure out how to make a processed food that was going to hold up in the tank better. And there were some people back then who were using gelatin. I don't remember whether I ever did. I might have. But it was not unknown and not unheard of. Horses' hooves have always been an effective way to keep food in some kind of gelatinous form. Tomato, what's that stuff called? Tomato, what is that called? Tomato gelatin.
Puree?
Food. Pardon?
Paste?
No, not paste.
Paste or puree?
It's tomato in a gelatin form. It's tomato mixed with gelatin.
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen that or heard of it.
Yeah, it's.
We cook with the paste to help thicken the sauce.
It was a way of being able. What in the world was it called? Tomato. Somebody will remember it. It'll come to me.
All right, chalupa, no tomato.
Yeah, I think I've used some of this gelatin stuff, and it's fun. It's
pectin.
Nice.
Pectin.
Say it again.
Pectin.
Yes.
Pectin.
Pectin.
Thank you, Alex.
Right.
That was Alex.
Alex got it figured.
Yep.
I think I'm in top of it. I didn't see that answer.
Pectin.
Yep. Paul C said it too.
I think it's a popular gimmick. it's certainly not in any way problematic. Adding gelatin to a fish's diet is certainly good for their scales and probably their cartilage. It is, made of horse's hooves and cow hooves too, for that matter.
I don't want to know.
Probably more cow hoof than horse hoof. There are a lot more cows being processed.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of horse hooves.
Yeah.
It's sad, but being in the horse business,
Yeah.
it's a bad situation.
Oh. Well, only because we're not allowed to eat it.
Right.
If it were available as a food, it would not have nearly the dastardly reputation it has.
Right.
Dog food. You can get it in dog food. Processed food. It's all processed food. Any processing reduces food value, no matter what it is, and no matter how you do it, it reduces food value. And that's kind of what I've gotten back to with all this stuff is never mind the convenience. If you can figure out a way to keep live food. Oh, excuse me. One of the easiest foods to keep is worms. Worms and fish. If you can catch fish in any kind of quantity, or little shrimp, or even little tiny fish, and you can freeze them in sandwich packs, there's no better food. Henry Hall, his advice to me in 1975 or 1980, whatever it was. The best food for fish is fish. The best food for fish is fish.
Coffee said he thinks that the rapashi is made from seaweed.
Could be, I don't know.
I don't know.
James,
I haven't read it. That's a Corey fed food.
Yeah, that might give it some nutritional value. But again,
Starbucks.
it's a process.
Go
It's
check
a
out
process.
Corey's channel.
Yeah, it's a heavily processed product.
Yeah.
So it's going to have it will have more limited food value than something live. Feeding algae live, like what are the Chinese sheets of algae called? Quick, somebody.
Oh, golly. Not spirulina. I don't know. No, it's
stumping them all today. Look at this.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that.
James just dropped a good link for a Mark West video about food. That was a good one.
I don't know. If you want to know more about Corey feeds it to all his fish, so go check his video out.
Alex is talking about nori.
I think Alex should come up too.
Oh God, we don't want to get him going on it.
Well, we do have some other questions. We can move on if you'd like.
You'll be feeding mushrooms. Here it is. Mushrooms or fermented plants and potatoes. Here we go.
Seaweed. Yes, seaweed. Is that what we were looking for?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, LP. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. We couldn't think of seaweed. She got it. Frank says that's when Frank comes in.
Hopeless crew. Yeah, Frank will have it. Right. Frank's the plant guru.
He's in here.
Thought there was a more special word than seaweed. I didn't know what you're looking for.
All right. Hold on a minute. I'm going to get it.
Oh, no.
Driving into distraction
here. You never know what you're going to get. Some answers could be 10 seconds. This is gone for what? An hour?
Probably.
Oh, that's all right. That takes up some time.
We'll get to Rich.
Omega-1 veggie, red seaweed, and let me show you what it is. It's in a little cellophane package. You can buy it at the supermarket in the Chinese section, Chinese food section, Oriental food section, whatever it is.
Asian, maybe.
Right. And here we go. Come on, separate. Right there.
Yep, that's what my
That's
daughter
it.
has for sushi
Right.
rolls, and I don't eat
Sushi,
it.
right?
Yep.
Exactly.
I think you can find it in the vegetable section too.
Hmm.
Exactly. This is
Yep.
stale. Wait.
Kelp.
I just can't do it. I tried to sprinkle it on salads and everything.
I thought you were looking for the word
I would
kelp.
not feed it to my fish. Ugh. That's been hanging on the shelf for probably 2 years.
Yeah, it doesn't taste very good, I'm sure.
Hey,
No.
you got a little
Actually,
seaweed
it
in your
does
tea.
taste good. This tastes stale.
So you're selling that, but you're not feeding it. Is that
That
correct?
was the last one, right? And it's now opened.
You gotta
Oh my
sell a
God.
product.
So Aquatic Conquest says you may regret that, Father Fish. Oh, yes. Coffee, the vegan version of gelatine.
Is that food for your saltwater fish?
Yeah.
Is that what you feed them?
Omega 1. A lot of companies package it. Omega 1.
Well, we don't talk about
three
saltwater
colors.
fish. What do you feed your saltwater fish?
Saltwater. Yeah, saltwater, freshwater. You can feed it to anything. They all eat it. The theory is that saltwater fish eat plants, so you want to feed them sushi because it comes out of the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It's all marketing. It's
Mhm.
just all based on marketing strategy. The whole thing, all of it, 100% of it. It's what makes me nuts about the whole industry. It's none of it's based on really good, strong, clear scientific testing of just precisely how all these things work in real world application. They're manufactured because they sound good and because it seems like it ought to be a good thing to do or whatever.
Yeah, there's no honesty in advertising,
Yeah, it's all
or very, very little.
it's really kind of nuts. All right, we need to get off track here. Let's do a little tune, shall we? And
All
we're
right.
going to come back and we're gonna talk about something else when we come back. I'm
We'll
tired
answer
of
more
it.
of your questions. Thank you for sending them in.
Yes, Cassie's going to get to all your questions when we come back in about 5 minutes. Well, come on.
To be with you again. In the town of Baltimore lived a man of the sea, and he told us of his life in the land by Chesapeake. So we searched up on YouTube till we found his tank so clean. And we smiled, we found our way on Father Fish's fun life stream. We all love Father Fish's great life stream. He keeps his tank so clean, the plants they are so green. We all love his fluffy beard, it is so white. His eyes, they are so bright, he always keeps it tight. And our friends are all aboard, many more of them, they still snore. But they'll watch him on replay. Do 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 do. We all love Father Fish's great life stream. Tanks, they are so clean. The plants, they are so green.
So we had a bunch of them.
We all love his fluffy beard, it is so white. He always keeps it tight. His eyes are so bright. As we live the life fishy. Everyone!
Who am I? There's Cassie's new bowl. Ah,
I added shrimp today, 2 shrimp.
how good.
There's 2 snails in there, 2 bladder snails.
Frozen flakes and pellets. Yeah,
Oh.
variety. T-Bone's saying he feeds variety. I think that's probably the smartest way to proceed. We've got so many different things available to us. One of the things I have found that's important about feeding with baby fish, brand new fish, is to feed them the same thing. Do not do variety with baby fish. It confuses them. If you can get them on something that they'll eat, keep them on it until you get them up big enough that they can really begin foraging. Baby fish do not forage. They'll try one thing. If it works, and there's lots of it, that's what they'll eat exclusively. So it's better to do that. And you can feed simple things like decapsulated brine shrimp, not the hatching, the non-hatching. You can hatch it out as well and feed them baby brine. That's a great food. But you can feed them the non-hatching. And most baby fish will take it. There's some that are too tiny, in which case you need to feed things like microworm. There's some good microworm culture videos. If you cannot find it, do not have access to it, you can capture it wild. It's a nematode. It's a tiny nematode that occurs everywhere in the world. You scoop out a baked potato, bury it in your rose garden, leave it there for a month, take it out, scrape out the insides, put it in an agar or a yeast paste, and it'll grow microworms. They will find it and live in it and grow in it. They look for yeast, and that's what happens to the potato. It funguses, becomes yeast, becomes a fungus. They're a fungus-eating nematode that's very tiny. That's an excellent food for baby fish. Anyway, Alex says this is too complicated. I agree absolutely. It overwhelms me, Alex.
Aqua.
You could just say, I don't do that anymore. This is what I do now.
Yeah, exactly, right.
You want
I
to
used
try
to
something
do
else,
that.
go
Is
somewhere else.
flour a valid fried food? Flour. Oh
Aquapunk
my
had a
God.
question at
Wait.
9:34.
Flour.
Should we put him in line?
What is flour?
Well, it's just on
Flour
the
is either
subject.
wheat or corn or rice. It's a grain. Is grain good as a fish food? Typically, it is not good as a fish food. It does not contain what baby fish, talking about using it for babies, does not contain what baby fish need in order to thrive. In addition to which, it has a unique ability to foul the water very quickly and very easily. I mean, try putting flour in your water and see what happens. It turns the whole thing milky. It's the nature of the beast. Turn tetracolored granules into powder in the food processor and feed them with BBS to my fry. James Andy. Excellent. It works perfectly well. Yeah, grinding up any kind of high quality food and feeding it to babies works. What works best is live food for baby fish. The decapsulated brine shrimp doubles as a live food. It is a live food. It's simply in a uh, how shall we call it? It's in a deep hibernation state. um, but it's edible. And it's and it's nutritional, and it'll grow baby fish up very quickly. So try to feed live food to your baby fish. They will love you for it. They will grow quickly, and they'll do much better than if you try to do some kind of processed food.
We need another video on brine shrimp and Daphnia, maybe the worms.
Listen, giving credit where credit is due. I watched Aquarium Co-op last night, a video on Daphne. Curiously, Corey did not show his face in it even once, which I thought was odd because I always show my face, and he does too, actually, but he didn't. It was all voiceover, and it was showing a big vat that he raises Daphne in, and it was excellent, really excellent. Good advice, um, good procedure. There was really very little about it that that I had any serious question about. In fact, I even picked up a good hint. He puts a calcium block in the water, and which makes perfect sense because uh, uh, Daphne have a chitinous outer shell, so they need the gelatin would be great. Actually, might even be better to put gelatin in there, but and gelatin would dissolve, but the calcium does, and it gets into the food column. He's feeding them yeast, which I thought was also interesting. He said that green water is irrelevant. The word he used was irrelevant. Well, that was a poor choice of words. Yeah. So,
He's got two videos, one from 6 years ago and then an update 2 years ago.
yeah, it's really quite good. The new one, not the old one.
Okay.
The
I'll check it out.
yeah, the yeast. He uses yeast, not green water, and the reason is because green water gets eaten up very quickly and has to be replaced. So if you have a good source of green water, then that's great. But that's a whole other step. And he's simply taken to using yeast instead of green water, which works fine. So anyway, kudos to Corey on his Daphne farm. I thought that was really quite quite good.
Yeah, he does. He has some good videos. It's just his take on things is usually not from like a planted aquarium background.
Right. Well, it's also very much from, I mean, that was one of the few things I've seen him doing
Well,
that did not involve selling a product.
not always. He's been getting more into ponds as well. So I think he's trying to learn more about doing things more natural. All right. Dirt 305, Richie or Rich. I don't know. It's a hard one to read. This morning, I had a question about his tank. Would you like to address that question from early this morning?
Thank you, Alex. Alex wants me to buy some fresh sushi. Yeah, I think I will. This stuff doesn't taste good to me. I think it's stale. I ain't even gonna feed it to my fish. All right.
All right,
Thank you,
Father Fish.
Alex. Yes, go.
What? Rich says, I have a 55-gallon dirt tank that needs a deep cleaning. It has green algae and muck on the side and in the sand. And I was trying to ask him earlier if that might be cyanobacteria, but I didn't get a reply.
Well,
I might not know, but that's my suspicion.
So this presumably is a tank that's been set up for a while. One of the comments he made was he didn't want to stir it up for fear of releasing gases into the tank. That's not a fear you need to be concerned of, not a situation you need to be concerned about. Any gases that are released? Yep, I got snacks has got it. You don't need to worry about gases because they go through the water column at such a rapid rate that they don't have much of a chance to dissolve in the water. And they're not a problem anyway. They're typically nitrogen. What is she doing now?
I prefer this topic.
I can't.
Am I centered?
Yeah, I guess. What are you showing us?
For those of you who can read it.
I can't. Yeah, let me. Oh, I don't know.
Can you
Talking
see?
about
that's
air
the gas. That's the gases we're talking about.
Yeah, they're released into the atmosphere. They don't hang around.
Yeah, I have a whole paper on it, guys. If you can read this.
Look at this. Look at this. Lord. This woman is amazing.
This is the science, guys. It's not me. I wrote it down from somebody I saw talking about it, but this is the science behind those bubbles. And they say right there, low oxygen equals dead fish. You have to worry about not having oxygen in your tank more than those bubbles. If you don't have oxygen, your fish are dead.
Right, and you get the.
But the gist of this is don't worry about it. It's harmless. It won't harm your fish. Just put an air stone in.
Oh dear. So who was there? I need a name. Whose tank are we fretting over here?
It was 305.
Oh, that's right. 305.
From this morning's comment.
From this morning, right. I do remember. I did read it.
I didn't think we were going to go on that long about Kaizen's answer.
But quite all right. Quite all right. Okay. So we don't have, if you're still around 305, let us know how long this tank has been set up. Just more out of curiosity than anything else.
I think they're a newcomer. They didn't reply back to me, and I've asked him if
Yeah,
he's still
Alex thinks he's gone. I think he's.
there. Yeah, I think he
I
left.
think it probably is. But we will answer the question anyway. Um, and if it shows up in my in my comments, I'll respond there. I think it may have. I think he may have asked this yesterday. Anyway, some of you have already figured it out. And for the rest of you who haven't, the answer is more cowbell.
Oh, he's back. He says he's had it set up for a year.
Oh,
He's
good.
here. He or
Okay.
she, I don't know.
Okay. So, what has happened to your tank is that the detritus going into it has essentially clogged the sand. It's not. It moves very slowly. It does move, but it moves slowly. What this means is you have more detritus, more waste than the system as it's currently uh, established is able to handle. The solution really is very simple. Number one, do not clean it. Do not clean it. Do not go in there and stir things up. Don't try to take a bunch of stuff out. If you have excess mulm or detritus laying around in the form of sheets of algae or some such thing, take it out if you feel the need to do so. That's not a problem. But don't go down in there and stir things up. What you need to do is add another inch or more of sand right on top of what you've got. Just make it an inch deeper than it is. That will give you at least another year and may even resolve the issue because it may allow the system then to catch up with the volume of detritus that's being created. So add an inch of sand, let the system continue to work. You're going to be covering up all that green sand, which is perfectly appropriate. It's fine to do that. It will simply drive it down into the anaerobic layer. Add an inch of sand and call me in the morning or 6 months, whichever comes first, where there's a need. What? Yeah, we're not dealing with red slime.
It's
We're
blue
not
green.
we're not going to do blue green slime here. Not going to do it. We're going to cover it with sand. Cap it with sand.
And then try that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Cassie likes to throw things into her tank.
Just that.
Just that. All of this stuff is sold because it works. But it may work in a very narrow range, and you don't know what the effect of the rest of that range is. I mean, you're putting things in your tank that are in fact toxins. They're poisons. So it becomes important to greatly restrict doing so. I know one, the bacteria algae stuff, like the blue green algae and the like, red slime algae, are particularly nasty products. That was the fifth thing I was trying to think about the other day, was add an inch of sand with the salt water, resolving that issue in salt water. You reduce feeding, do a water change because you want to reduce nitrates. You reduce feeding, so you're reducing the volume of excuse me, of nutrients that are going in the tank. You can do a minor cleaning, like siphoning or picking up surface stuff. 3, 4. Now I've lost the other one. Add sand. Add a layer of sand to it. Cap it. It doesn't have to be an inch, it can be half an inch. Just whatever's going to cap it. I always like to try to do an inch because it really resolves the issue. Thank you, Mary Page, for your super sticker. Mary and Alex are my heroes today. They're
Yes,
keeping
thank you
the
guys.
channel alive. Thank you so much, guys. Deeply appreciate you. Aaliyah's still here.
We
Abby,
love you. We love you, Father Fish.
I know you do. I do appreciate it very, very much.
Appreciate what you do every day. You're awesome.
You're amazing. We love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Yeah,
That's
I
a good
think
point Alex made was the roots will aerate the cyanobacteria also, and plants will take care of it and oxygenate the
that's
soil.
right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank goodness, my tank had all that cyano when I got back home, and it's like cleared completely up now. I just got it, aerated and got the plants put back in, and I put some hornwort in there to kind of draw all that stuff out.
All
to the
right,
plethos.
Cassie. So what's Isabel got to say?
She says I have leeches.
Yeah.
She's got a name for it. I'm stumped on the name. Detrivore.
Yeah.
Detrivore leeches in all her aquariums. She's asking if they're dangerous.
No.
They are. She wanted to know how to get rid of them.
No, they're not. And they're really they're really working for you the same way a snail would or any other kind of nematode. They're helping clean the helping keep organics under control. So it's not. Yeah, it's kind of a Rohan caught a loach today. Is that a wild loach? What do you think? Or did he finally catch that little sucker he's been after with a net for the last 6 months?
Hopefully.
One or t'other.
She was trying to destroy her leeches with peroxide, salt, and no planaria, but had no luck with any of that stuff.
Yeah, any of that stuff could kill your fish too. Again, be cautious about introducing anything that has a toxic effect into your tank because it likely will have a secondary effect that will be much less desirable than its intended initial effect. It's called unintended consequences, and there are always those. It's like eating something you just really love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
The unintended consequence of which is excess body fat or something.
Did you see David's comment there about does the plants take calcium out of the water? I have high GH mostly from calcium. Since we're talking about plants right now.
They do. What else takes calcium out of the water? Snails take calcium out of the water.
Oh, true. And shrimp.
Shrimp take calcium out of the water.
Shells.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I've got all kind of baby shrimp. I'm excited.
Oh, that's neat.
That is. Because they're LRBs and they're the ones from Rose. And I've got little baby shrimps everywhere.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, harkening back to Corey's Daphne culture, he's putting KH in the system in order to be able to increase the integrity of the Daphne because they're pulling KH out of the water
because they're crustaceans or whatever.
Yeah.
Dun,
Well,
dun,
they're a
dun, dun, dun,
crustacean,
dun.
right? So they're making shell.
That's right.
Mary's pushing her merch.
Hey, and
Merch.
I ordered me a t-shirt today. I ordered me a sweatshirt from Alex with a betta on it, and then I ordered some
Nice.
of our t-shirts today, so I can't wait to wear them.
Nice.
You can order mine too, Mary.
Oh, thank you, Isabel. Oh yes,
I was going to send you one.
Cassie made a pretty shirt too.
Yeah.
Thank
it's
you,
been a
Isabel.
second.
You've got a
Just
yeah, you got it.
One.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you, Isabel. Very kind and generous of you. Do
I'll be
appreciate
wearing them all.
Alex was saying that Isabel's leeches are an inch long and they are scary looking.
Oh yeah, well,
Can't you just like pluck them out if they're that big? Just manually remove
yeah,
them?
I would put a loach in there. The loaches should eat them.
Uh,
A weather loach would be good. They're a little bigger. Coolie loaches are kind of small, but weather loaches get up 4 to 5 inches. A little turtle, if you can get a little tiny turtle, they generally do pretty well in most aquariums, and they'll eat them. Try to find something generally for that kind of pest that will eat it. Shrimp might as well. Um, Caridina probably.
I just thought about something, Father Fish.
Yeah.
Alan Tooth told me to tell you he didn't think he was going to make it this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was
Yeah, he
thinking
had some
about
stuff
that
to do.
today.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
just
thank
wanted to
you.
let you know. Okay,
Yeah,
you're welcome.
appreciate it. Oh, that was Alan. Okay. All right. Well, we will miss you, Alan. We
Yep.
sold the big tank. The big tank is gone.
That was how big of a tank? How big was that?
150.
Did the people set it up, or did y'all set a tank up for them?
We have it under contract.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna set it up and
Is
maintain
that
it.
was
It's
it
in
at the
a dental.
dentist?
It's in a
Oh, that's
dental
neat.
office. Yeah. So we'll
That would be
maintain.
my dentist.
Are they going to do salt water or fresh water?
Yeah, he wants saltwater and mostly fish. I'm gonna try to talk him into coral. We'll try to
Oh,
do
that would
some
be cool.
coral in it. Soft
Get
coral
'em.
at least.
Uh-oh, I'm in top chat. Sorry, y'all. I don't know where I'm at. Did we get all the questions?
No. Aquafun says, Father Fish, if I fed blue molly feeders to a blue cichlid, like a jack of something, would the blue and the molly transfer over to the cichlid?
No. Not in a noticeable way. A black would have a better chance, but you'd have to do an awful lot of it.
Okay. And then Alex is asking, can you keep the African diving frogs in a small beta-sized tank, or does their food spoil the water?
Well, dealing with those two issues separately. Yeah, you are they little tiny ones or 6-inch ones? I mean, they get big.
Well, if it's
He's
in a
talking
small
about
beta-sized tank,
he's talking about the African black claw frog, is he?
he said diving frogs. I don't know if he's talking about the ones that Lee has, because Lee had made a
Oh,
comment.
probably, yeah. That's the dwarf frog. Yeah, you can keep them. The best thing to feed them is live food. I'm just thinking about that and wondering if they would eat if they would eat Isabel's worms. They might. It's worth a try. that is the sort of thing frogs go after. They might very well eat a larger nematode, a flatworm, whatever.
I wonder if you had speech to text on it. Autocorrected
Here,
it.
Fishy says, yeah, they will.
Oh, let me take this a second. Father Fish.
Okay.
Yes, hi, Ashley. Good, how are you?
That's reading abolished.
Yeah, my snails died.
Yours did?
I have one in here that looks like it croaked.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, these
Absolutely.
bladder
Yes.
snails, they've been dying when I
Yeah, we
moved.
were just trying to get it delivered.
Oh,
yes.
no.
We could have done that before, but we were over anxious, I guess, to get it over
Oh,
there.
yeah, that's a good idea, Sharpie.
Tomorrow.
Crayfish will eat leeches.
Yep. Well, yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you. Right. You bet. This is going to be one trauma after another.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we sold that big tank, the
Mhm.
half round, and we got a call back this morning. He's not happy with the fact that we did not polish the wood.
Oh,
We
goodness.
told him we would do tomorrow.
Right.
But they were very anxious for us to get it delivered, so we decided
Got it
to
delivered and
deliver
put
it and
in.
polish it in place
Right.
rather than beforehand. So,
Because you haven't set it up yet, have you? You haven't done
we haven't
anything
done
to
a
it.
thing. We just
Right.
dropped it off. That's all we did.
Yeah.
So
Just
we'll
getting
be
it
there
in place.
tomorrow to polish it. Right.
I wish I was there. I would sure come in and do that for you. I'd have that thing looking sharp.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
I'd put some
over there.
lump suckers in there. I love those little fish. They were so cute.
Oh Lord.
Or what was the other one? The sculpins. I don't know if you could keep those in a regular aquarium.
Yeah,
They look pretty specialized, but they were cool.
Anyway, where are we?
How is? Oh, okay, never mind.
I think we're at the bottom of the list.
Did we get everybody? Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Alex's African diving frogs was the last
Your
one.
Fishy is selling elbow grease for $39.95. $39.05. Save a buck.
The last African frog I had was when I was little, and it was in my fish tank. And my mom went to get in her shower about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I heard her scream, and I couldn't find my frog anywhere. Well, it had gotten out of my fish tank and crawled all the way across the carpet and picked up every piece of dog hair and fuzz and everything. And there was this furry critter in her shower, and it scared her to death. My poor little frog.
Yeah, Alex, I knew this going in.
Yeah.
I knew this going in. What I'm gonna make sure that he pays for the aggravation.
But you're going to kill him with kindness.
That'll be the key to it. Oh, he's gonna
Right.
pay for everything he wants. Oh well.
Swamp thing. Yeah, you're fishy. That's
I know.
exactly what it looked like.
I know. I know.
That
All
was
right.
funny.
We're at 9:30. We're gonna cut it off here, guys.
All
We're
right.
down the bottom of the list, are we?
Yep. Thank you, Nicholas, for the tip.
Anything else?
I was just
wonder-
talking about how my bladder snails were dying when I put them in my either the jar or the bowls.
Oh, did everybody hit that like? There's 44 watching and 38 likes. So I don't know if we'll make it to 50, but if y'all would please consider hitting that like button on your way out.
No, James, nothing eats nearite snail eggs. We've gone over this a few times.
Right.
They'll dissolve and go away on their own, but I think we've covered it. There's not a fish that'll eat them.
Not aware of one. Crabs might. I don't think shrimp will. It's worth a try. Crabs might. Got to be able to crush them.
Well, does it add calcium? Maybe it's good to just leave them in there.
If they dissolve, yeah, I don't know. All right. What are we gonna do? Let's do. I know what we need to do. We need to do Lee. Let's get Lee up here.
Narrate snails lay eggs so they can eat them.
Hello, Mary. Mary. Try and sort this one out.
Sort this one out. We're in slow motion, Father Fish.
Let's talk about fish, baby.
I am. Let me kick it up here.
You and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be.
There it
Let's
is.
talk about fish.
Here we go.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Oh,
Let's
Lordy.
talk about all the good things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk
Do those shoulders.
about fish. Fish. Let's talk about
Get your shoulders
fish.
going.
Let's talk about fish. Instrumental break.
Get it going. It's your morning exercise.
All right.
Crunches in place.
Go, Father Fish. Fish face.
Let's talk about fish, baby. Let's talk about
Yeah.
you and me. Let's talk about all the good things
Hi,
and
Matt.
the bad things
We
that
appreciate
may
you.
be. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish. 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 Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the
Bye
good
bye,
things
everybody.
and the bad things that may
Y'all
See
have
you
a
all
great day.
tomorrow.
Love you all.
Bye.
Do you need
Oh,
us to
dear.
stick around? Do you need us, Father Fish?
Hit the ground running. Let's do contest
Oh, yes.
video.
Reminder contest still going
Make
We
on.
sure, make
Through
sure you're
tomorrow.
entered. Get an entry in by tomorrow.
2 videos, 10
Sit and be
pictures.
fit. Right, Alex?
Should remind them it's 2 15-second videos or
Yeah,
or 10 pictures.
10 pictures, right. And send it to Aquatic Conquest. His email should be up here in just a second. I don't have the link. Anybody have the
It'll
link
be
they can
here.
drop?
Keep an eye open. You'll find it.
Yeah,
Coming up.
coming up.
Coming up.
Thanks, Chevy Fish. Hi, Dykem.
Leave a comment. You can leave a comment on this video, or go to Aquatic Conquest. Leave a comment there.
Hi, Dicasto Mix.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too, Father Fish.
Hit
Yes.
the ground running.
See you later.
Bye, Cassie.
Bye-bye, all.
Love you all.
Hello, Dicastamix. Bye, I got snacks. Take care, Lori. Aquatic Conquest at AOL.com. Or post it on your channel and send them a link. You can post it private and send a link.